right, Coach, if you could just recap this weekend over at UTSA.
Yeah, we come out strong. I mean, I think it's been our theme, right? We're coming out strong that first game, get a nice win against SFA, who essentially wins the tournament, how they had set it up. And then, you know, we're kind of, I think, struggling to figure out how to play the way we can on a Saturday. So we've got to figure that out this weekend. But then come back strong on Sunday, right? So we had the lineup out there was great. Every team was great competition, which was awesome. And I thought, you know, even the loss Friday night, I think our team said it. We gave them that game, which was frustrating. But I think we learned how to turn that around, then come back on Sunday against UTSA and then get that great win, which was awesome. So, yeah.
So a little bit of everything this weekend. You had early leads, comebacks, tight games, and you closed it strong on Sunday. What did you learn about your team over those 5 games?
Yeah, I think when we can stay calm and they're not giving up, they're fighting, but you can see, like, I felt like Friday night, particularly against UTSA, I think we could see we got nervous in that last inning, right? And so that's part of preseason. So we got to learn how to not have those nerves, work the mental side of it, calm ourselves, because then we can dominate those games and win those games. You know, I think we had a little bit of that on Sunday even, where in that last inning they got runners on, but then we were able to shut it down. So there was growth right there. You know, and I think they're just learning about themselves individually and as a team, and, you know, what they need to do to have the win, but also just, you know, have that mental game and that mental approach to just kind of close the door on somebody. And we're learning that. We're learning that now, and hopefully that leads into conference. And so when that happens, we can close the door instead of leaving it open. So, yeah.
Offensively, you had multiple big innings throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
When this lineup is clicking, what are you seeing in terms of approach and quality of at-bats?
Yeah, you know, our hitters, when they really go in with the right approach and they know what their hunt is, and they know, you know, we study the pitchers pre-game every single time. We kind of know what they're going to throw, and they just have to have that mental approach going into it. And then when they feed each other great information, you know, the batters previous that have come up, I think mentally they're going at it in the right direction. You know, when we start getting outside of our hunt and start letting the pitcher control us, that's when you really see it show up. And we're not getting that offensive attack. But I feel like overall, I think they're starting to really understand that piece, mentally, physically, all of that. And we really are putting some great stuff together. We just keep talking a little bit more too about just making adjustments quicker. You know, sometimes we'll go out hot in a first inning, and then maybe they change the pitcher. We kind of can knock a pitcher out. A new pitcher comes in, and then we're not making as quick of adjustments. And it's just a work in progress, you know. And I think it's not for lack of effort and want and all of that, which is great. And they're just learning. They're learning about themselves individually, and then also learning how to help each other. But we just have to sometimes make quicker adjustments. You know, that's kind of the game, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Pitching staff had a lot to navigate a lot of traffic this weekend. Yeah. How did you evaluate the way your staff competed in high pressure situations, and what growth did you see?
Yeah, again, like on Friday night, I think we got a little bit nervous, but what we saw over this weekend, which was great, is I think, you know, Anna's had great innings, Elisa's had great innings, but what showed up this weekend is Grace had great innings, Sadie had great innings, Ayana had great innings. So overall, looking at that piece of it, I felt like our staff developed this weekend, which is exciting, exciting for the future of our pitching staff. You know, and then again, it's so mental, right? How do you control the the pressure, and because it's truly, physically they have everything they need. Then it's just controlling the mental and calmness. And but I think we saw growth even in that this weekend, which was awesome. I think in that last game, you saw us kind of shut the door and kind of attack it in a different way, which was awesome. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of growth and saw a lot of growth in the pitching staff this weekend, which was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Looking ahead to next weekend, what areas do you feel most encouraged about coming out of this tournament? Where do you want to see the biggest step forward?
Yeah, I think we're just super excited to be at home. We've been on the road for 3 weeks, and just to be on our home field and kind of have that advantage and have, our peeps behind us this weekend is super exciting. And then it's just, I think, going into this weekend, can we find consistency, right? And I think we come out really strong on Fridays. Can we have that same consistency roll into Saturday and then finish strong on Sunday? And I think that's what we're hoping for this weekend. And can we be in our home state? We're home on Friday, we're at CSU Saturday and Sunday, but it's still our home state. We'll have tons of hometown fans, and our families travel from everywhere, so they'll be here. It'll just be awesome atmosphere. Weather's supposed to be great. Let's enjoy that. And then just get to play in our home state and have growth, just in consistency for our team this weekend. I think that's what we want to see. So, yeah.
And then one last question from Ann Delaney at the Tribune.
Hey, Ann.
What has been Elise Heidock's biggest adjustment to college softball?
Yeah, I think for Elise, it's the mental piece of it, right? Her understanding that she doesn't have to be perfect, but a little more perfect than when you're in high school and summer ball. I think when in that stage, high school and summer ball, sometimes you can get away with leaving one down the middle at the waist and it gets mishit. And at this level and these hitters, that typically goes out instead, and I think she's kind of learning that piece. And then also learning that 1 through 9 hitters are strong hitters, right? I think, when you have to adjust to that there's never a bad hitter in a lineup. And so she's kind of having to learn to adjust her game to that, that she's got to hit her corners, she's got to keep it at the knees, she's got to go at the hands, use the off speeds quite a bit. I think Elise powered through a lot in summer and high school ball, like she could just power through with her drop balls and kind of speed. And now she's learning that game of trying to throw a hitter off balance. And so that's a mental and a physical piece. So she's having to adjust to that. And but I think she's coming along. She's doing a great job, and it's just learning moments for her, which is fun. So yeah.